Hello everyone. I'm so glad you guys are here for the online crop, and Happy New Year. I hope it's going to be a fabulous 2018. The theme I know for this online crop is about keeping in touch all year long and not just during the holidays. And so this challenge is to have you make an easel loaded envelope. It's like a mini one. I have one as an example here, but the paper I'm going to use to walk you through the tutorial is going to be way cuter. This is for like a birthday, and so we a lot of times send things for birthdays, but the one I'm going to do tonight with you is more of a let's hang out, let's go shopping, let's go get a coffee, something like that. So here is the mini easel loaded envelope. I have a couple things on here I'll show you, and then I'll move it sideways so you can see why it's called an easel. Just decorated it with some graphic 45 paper. It's a little bit of an older line, but I added a little clothespin that I altered a little bit. In this first pocket, I just put some candy inside and put a topper and decorated it. Fussy cut the little girl on the side. I made a tag and I left the back open. Usually I decorate the back, but I thought that would be a great place for a message. So there's a tag that was included, and then just one of the wands to give it some height. So this is what the envelope or the easel card looks like without anything in it. And here's the side, and so you'll see that it has an accordion pocket. It has a dimensional, like 3/4 of an inch deep pocket or a little box, and then it does have the easel so they can stand it up and be able to look at it. So that is what the challenge is, to make one of these little mini easel envelope loaded envelopes. So let me move this to the side and let's get started. So I'm going to be using Echo Park Fashionista tonight. Let's start with the base, and you're going to need 2 pieces. I'm using the white artisan cardstock. The first piece you're going to need is a 5x8, and this 5x8 needs to be scored at the 7-inch mark. So let me get my scoreboard here and show you. You know what, let me see if I can move this back. Not really. I know you can't see the top of the scoreboard. That's not good. Well, is that better? Okay. So you're going to take your 5x8 piece, place it on your scoreboard with the 8 inches across the top, and score at 7 inches. And the second piece for the base is a 5x12 piece. This 5x12 piece will get scored. So if you put it on your scoreboard with the 12 inches across the top, you're going to score at 7 inches, 9 inches, and 11 inches. So this was 5x12, score at 7, 9, and 11. Okay, so once we have that done, we're going to fold on our score lines. The first one I made, I decorated, or I added the decorative paper after I put it together, and you can do that. But this time I'm going to add the paper as I go while I'm constructing it, because I think it'll be a little bit easier. So this piece is actually going to be the one that you use that has the easel part. So when I look at my first score line, when I have my paper the long way here, I'm going to fold the first score line back, and I'm going to burnish it. Okay, so that you just see a 5x7 piece. The second one we're going to fold the opposite direction, and then the third one will fold back towards the other direction. So if you look at it, this is the easel part, and I'm going to attach the other piece to this 1-inch lip. Okay, so on this one then, the 5x8, just fold on the score line, and burnish. And this we're going to attach at the top and the bottom. So that's going to become the easel. So before we put it together, let's go ahead and start decorating so that it's easier to adhere. Okay, so on the one that has the easel, or like the W, I go 1/8 of an inch less. So what I did, let's save this one, the front. Let's start with, I'm going to go to the back of this one. This one we're going to add the pockets on the front, so I'm going to wait on that one. So let's go to the back, okay? So on this one, because I go 1/8 of an inch smaller, if it measures 5 inches across, we want 4 7/8. And if it measures 7 high, we want 6 7/8. So I cut that piece out and I'm going to attach it. And this is going to be the part that is on the inside, okay? So I'm going to get my glue, this glitter glue. This is going to be a super cold New Year's. We're expected to have wind chills of 30 below. That's major. I'll be staying in the house. I guess the grocery stores are super crazy. People loading up before it gets too cold. Okay, so just line it up. Oopsie. And you have a little bit of time. And just press down. I use my score tool because it's a wider one. It's one of the squares. Not score tool, bone folder. Okay. And so now I'm going to do the 2 pieces on the inside and the 2 pieces on the other side, the easel section. So these measure 2 inches by 5 inches. So we're going to cut 1 7/8 by 4 7/8. And I went ahead and cut 4 of those. On all these papers that I've pre-cut, I did take my ink and I went ahead and got rid of that white that shows on the edge. And I used black soot on mine. So we're going to glue 2 on the inside and 2 on the outside. So you'll see that this project goes fast. It's that when you start adding things on the inside, that can be a little bit time consuming. I did mine ahead of time and I'll show you what I made to put inside. I have a college friend that we meet for coffee or dinner once a month. So I thought this would be something I could send to her or give to her. And instead of going for like to Panera or whatever, we should go shopping. We both like to craft, so that would be a great time for us to go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something. Or we should just get together. She does different kinds of crafting though. She's more of a crochet person and I don't know how to do that. I will stick to my paper. All right, this one also 1 7/8 by 4 7/8. You want to make sure you do not put your paper on top of the score line, but right above it. Press down. Okay, so again, that's the inside. I'm going to flip it over and put the 2 sections on the back also. So these 2 are also 1 7/8 by 4 7/8. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight and keeping up with the challenges, playing the games, having a safe night at home. I'm not saying you can't have your glass of wine next to you while you're doing this though. That is one thing I'm missing. Okay, one more. I need to fill my glue bottle. I have a full one, but I want to use every last drop. I hope all of you have an idea of what you want to work on in 2018. Sometimes instead of a New Year's resolution, I just pick a word and I go with that word all year long. And a lot of times I'll make a tag and put that word on there as a reminder if that's what I want to focus on or remind myself. Okay, so that is good so far. We're going to move that to the side. And now we're going to do the 5x8 sheet that we just folded. Oh, shoot. Okay, as I was looking at this, the first one I did, because I didn't paper it first, when I attached this other piece, I glued it to the inside and glued this lip to the inside. And I can do that on the bottom, but because I already papered this one, if I glue it like that, I'll cover up part of the paper. So I'm going to end up putting my lip on the outside. Okay, so the easel section is at the bottom. This 1-inch lip we're going to place on the outside, only if you already decorated the inside. If you didn't, go ahead and glue it like that, like that. But I'm going to have to do it like this instead. So I'm going to put glue on that 1 inch. You probably won't even notice it once it's decorated. Okay. And it should line up perfect. Check each side. You don't want any overhang. And I'm going to go ahead and press that down. So now we are going to attach this 1-inch lip to the inside. Okay, you're looking at it as a side view, so it might be kind of confusing, so I hope not, and I apologize if it is, but I don't know how else to show you. Okay, and this will line up and I'm going to flatten it because it's an easel. I can do that. Make sure it's adhered real well. So this is what we have. So now I'm going to attach the other piece inside of here, and it's still easy enough to put it in now that it's put together, but like I said last time, I did all of them after I constructed it. So this piece is also 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. I always go 1/8 of an inch, sometimes 1/4 of an inch. It depends if I want how much of a border I want. So I'm just going to slide this in and hopefully not touch it onto the paper until I get it in there. All right. So see, it wasn't too tough. I need to get some of those scraper things that Tammy uses to get inside of these small areas. All right, so the inside. Now by adding this decorative paper, it gives it much more stability too, so it's more durable and it will last longer, and that's what we want. Okay, so you can decide what you want for the front and the back now. Because I have this lip, I'm going to make this my back so that it's not seen as much. So if this is my back, I'm going to go ahead and take another piece of 4 7/8 by 6 7/8, and I'm going to adhere that to the back like so. Okay, so it comes together really easily, and I think the end result looks nice. And it can be used for anything. Like I said, it could be just for a friend to invite them to go shopping. It can be for a birthday. It can be for an I miss you and I'm thinking of you. Okay. And looks pretty good. Press down. Now remember, this is my back piece. And I did already take my black ink and go around the edges. So let me show you on the original one that I made. So because I'm going to use this one for like as a let's go shopping, let's hang out, let's go to the craft store, whatever. On the back, I'm going to go ahead and add a little pocket that you can put like a gift card in. It could be a coffee, like a, I'm a scooters girl. I don't know if everybody else has scooters, but Starbucks gift card, whatever, inside this. So I need to add a pocket to the back. So let's go ahead and take our cardstock. And this is for the gift card pocket on the back. And this is going to measure 2.5 by 6 inches. And you just need one of these. 2.5 by 6. You're going to need your scoreboard. And with the 6-inch piece, 6 inches going across the top, go ahead and score it 1/2. Turn it so that the 2.5 is at the top. Score it 1/2. One more turn, 1/2. So you have 1/2 inch score on 3 sides. Okay. Now when I do this, some people cut, I don't know why I do it this way, but some people just cut straight across to get rid of that bulk. I just have always cut it at an angle on each side of that square in the corner. Like so. So I cut it at an angle. I don't cut the square out perfectly, just go at an angle. Okay. So you have the 2 corners cut out. Let's go ahead and burnish our score lines. I got a new mat for Christmas because on the black one that I was using, it was hard to see, and it was looking pretty nasty with all the paint and stuff I had on there. But I've already cut on here, and it left a mark, and it's supposed to be self-healing, so I'm a little irritated by that. But my New Year's resolution is not to be irritated so easily, I guess. Okay, so there is our little pocket. I'm going to go ahead and add my decorative paper. So this is, now that it's folded, 2 inches. So my paper is 1 7/8 by 4 7/8. And I'm going to just go ahead and adhere that before I even put it on the back. The heat's kicking on a lot here. It must be getting cold out. Colder. Keeps dropping. Okay. And perfect. Make sure the corners are down. Now you can use score tape on your flaps. You can use the glue. And I don't like mine at the bottom. I want mine to be up a little bit higher. I just like to see the decorative paper at the bottom. I think I'm going to go ahead and use score tape. Why not? A little variety. So I'm going to go ahead. This is 3/8 of an inch score tape, so I get good coverage. And there. Hope this is coming together easily for you. Make sure my score tape's on real well before I take the backing off. And just take off those. Come on. There we go. So you're going to tuck in the sides and then bring up the bottom so that things slide in easily. Okay, so I brought up the bottom, and now just decide where you want it on the back, and it lines up perfect. I'm going to go ahead and burnish real well to make sure it's adhered. It's not going to be holding anything heavy, so it's not that big of a deal, but just want to make sure it stays on. Okay, so our easel is coming together. It's looking good. Okay, so now we have 2 pockets to make. We're going to start with the 3/4 of an inch squared pocket. Okay, and then we'll do the accordion pocket last. So for the squared pocket, you're going to want a piece of paper cut at 6.5 by 8. And let me get my scoreboard out and show you how to score it. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to score on 3 sides. So starting with the 8-inch side at the top, score at 3/4 and 1.5. This is with the 8-inch side at the top. Score at 3/4 and 1.5. Make a turn so that the 6.5-inch side is at the top, and do the same score measurements. 3/4 of an inch, 1.5 inch. Go ahead and turn it one more time so that the 8 inches is back at the top. Score at 3/4 of an inch, 1.5 inch. And if I said 1/2 inch earlier, it's 1.5. So 3/4 and 1.5. So that each of these will be 3/4 of an inch thick. Okay. So before, while I have my scoreboard out, let's just go ahead and get the accordion pocket ready too. So you're going to need a piece of paper cut at 4 by 8. One at 4 by 8. Place the 8-inch side at the top, and I want you to score at 1/2, 1 inch, and 1.5. Do that on the other side too. So flip it around so that the 8 inches is still at the top. Score at 1/2, 1 inch, 1.5, so that you have like 3 rows on each end. Now turn it so that your 4-inch side is at the top, and just do 1/2 inch. Just 1 at 1/2 an inch. Okay, so here's my sticky note if that helps you. And we'll set the accordion pocket off to the side. We're done with our scoring. And let's go back to our squared pocket. So I have placed X's to show you where I'm going to cut out. Where you have overlapping score lines, you'll see 4 squares. We're going to cut out 3 of those 4, the 2 on the outside and then the bottom. So like an L in this corner. So I'm going to cut this one at an angle. And I'm going to cut this one at an angle. And I need to get rid of the 2 on the outside and the 1 at the bottom. Okay, now I am going to cut up on that score line so that that square can be flipped up. I am going to do a slight tapering by taking out just a tiny sliver of a triangle, so it looks like that. I'm going to come over and do the same thing on the other side, but instead of cutting an L, we're going to do a backwards L. So at an angle, over here, cut out the 2. Okay, once again I'm going to cut up on that score line so that the square is only attached on one side. Taper each side with little triangles. Okay, and now let me clean up this mess and let's start to burnish. So this will be attached onto the front of our easel card. So let's just burnish all of our score lines. And I'd say out of the whole thing, this will be the trickiest, and it's not even hard. I know some of you are seasoned and you've been doing this for years. Some of you might be brand new, so this will be a project that's easy but yet has a cute result. And depending on what paper, that makes a ton of difference too. All right. So you can see that you're going to have a 3/4 of an inch side, and we're going to attach these 3/4 of an inch wings to the base. Okay. So before I do that, I am going to attach the tab. I'm going to take this tab and attach it to the piece next to it so that it stays together. And I'm going to get 2 clothespins to help me keep it closed. All right, so just a little bit of glue. Bring that over. Make sure they meet at the corner. And I'll put a clothespin right there to keep it closed. Do the same thing on the other end. We're going to put some glue here, fold it over. Make sure it lines up. Okay, just let it sit and dry for a second. I should have put my paper on first before I glued those tabs, but no worries, I'll do it next. Okay, so what do I have? Okay, those are secure. So on the solid side, this should be a 5-inch square. Hold on. Oh, 5 inches by, yep, 5 by 5. So I cut my paper at 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. Put ink around the edges, and I'm going to attach it right there on the front. I love this side of the paper with the sunglasses and purses. That's going to be the back of the long piece. All right. Okay. Go ahead and burnish so that it stays down. All right. Make sure your corners are down. So now we're going to take our base and attach the 3/4 of an inch lip to the base like so. And then we'll put the paper for the back. Okay. So like I said, this might be the trickiest part of the whole thing, but it's still easy. Go ahead and put my glue on. I'm going to put my glue on all 3 sides. And I want to make sure that I get the edge so that it lays nice and flat. And I've had to stick some glue in the edges once I've laid it down. And the last one. Okay. So we just want to make sure everything is lined up. Make sure you have the easel part to the bottom. Line it up on the sides and the bottom. Okay, I'm going to just hold it for a second, and then I'll take my tool and push down even more on the inside. I don't know if my clips will, oh, that doesn't want to. Okay. I have all kinds of bone folders. Just want to make sure it's attached real well. Okay, check the edges on the outside. Okay, there's what we have. So let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? I think I forgot to cut my skinny pieces. I certainly did. Okay, this is what I'm going to use for the back, this long piece. So this measured 5 by 7, so it's going to be 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. And we're just going to put that in like so. All right. Again, that was 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. All right, make sure if it's directional, you've got it the right way. And I'm going to stick this bone folder down there and push it down. Cute, cute. Okay, so I forgot to cut this, so I'm going to do that off camera so that I don't bore you, but you want to cover these side pieces like I did here. And so these measure 3/4 of an inch. So we want to cut 5/8 of an inch by 4 7/8. And you're going to need 3 of those. And that's the same measurement for all 3 sides. So again, that was 5/8 across by 4 7/8 inches long. And I will do that later and come back and add it. Okay. All right. Looking good, people. Last step is the accordion pocket now. And we've already done our scoring. You'll notice that where the score marks overlapped, there are 3 little squares. I am going to cut those out. And I am going to cut this one at an angle. So, and I'm just going to go straight across on that score line. I did cut this one at an angle. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And that's all the cutting. So when we burnish this, we want it to be an accordion. Let's go ahead and do the bottom piece first. Okay, so when we fold these 3, we're going to go away from us, then the next one forward, and the last one away. So away from me first on the first score line. The second score line will be toward me. And the last score line away from me. Okay, so that we get this accordion edge. So you want this piece to be going in so that it can attach to this. So let's do the other side. Away from me on the first score line. Second score line is going my way toward me. And the third one away from me. So that we have an accordion. Okay, and we will be attaching this to the base. Before I do that, I want to add my decorative paper on the front. This paper, it's still 5 inches across, so we're going to want 4 7/8, and it's 3 1/2. So we want 3 3/8. Okay, so 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. And I love this paper. It's so cute. I already put my black ink around, just kind of gives it the finished look. Okay. Go ahead and center that. Always make sure you don't go over the score line, just up to it. Okay, so we're going to put the accordion sides in and bring the bottom up. So again, you can decide, do you want to use score tape or do you want to use the glue? And we're going to attach it right here. And I think I'm going to use score tape. So I'm going to place a piece of score tape on just this last piece that will be attached. This is the 3/8. Just make sure it's down real well if you're using the tape. Okay, we're about done. So now I'm going to remove the backing on the two sides and then bring the bottom up. So I'm going to pinch those down at the bottom. Push down real good where they meet. Now I'll take the backing off of this one. And now I'm going to line it up on my box, making sure now, I put this paper on first so you can see the accordion piece right here. If that bothers you, you can put this decorative piece on after you adhere the front pocket. Some people that would really bother. And you know what? I kind of don't like it, but I forgot. And I'll have stuff in there too, so you won't even be able to tell. But don't add this piece if you want to hide the accordion part. Okay? I want to make sure it's down real well down here. Okay, and this is almost done. Like I said, I'll go back and do this. The 5/8 by 4 7/8 pieces around the edge. Let me show you now what kind of makes this come together and look adorable. So I already made some things to put inside. So I first started off by making a tag using the paper line. It's again Fashionista by Echo Park. So I put some of the decorative paper on. I had this, I cut this out of chipboard. I had some black chipboard. Put a little bow on there at the waist, some pearls up here. Put this really pretty lace from the store at the bottom and this white pearl trim. Put a flower in the corner. I backed this on sparkly paper. I don't know if you can see that. These came from the ephemera pack. Just hung those and it says Retail Therapy. Happened to find, now what are the chances I find a little charm that I had that says Diva on it on a little shirt. If I don't use it for this, I'll probably never use it. So that is going to be tucked in back here. I made a little wand, and I'm not very good at the wands, but I attempted. I used a straw, and then I made the, what's the word I'm looking for? The rosette, by taking two pieces of 1.5 by 12 inch scoring them every 1/2 inch and then attaching them in a circle, pushing down. I had some black feathers. I added those. I thought that was kind of cute. I added some little pearl sprays that can go back here. Okay. I happen to find, I have some of these bags. I don't remember what they're called, but I had a pink frame. I'm not going to take it out, but I had a pink frame, and I took one of the shoes that came in the ephemera pack, and I put that on the inside, and then I just put a topper on and put it on the shiny black paper, the sparkles, and it says "Life is short, make every outfit count." Made a little flag out of that sparkly paper and put a flower at the top. That's going to go in my accordion pocket. I had a clothespin that had a little chalkboard thing on it, and I just added a little flower that I can attach right here. And I have these little baby clothespins, and I have some trim that's crowns, and I thought that was cute, so I just added a couple crowns like so. And I did have this trim, and I'm trying to decide if I want to put it on at the bottom. I don't know, I can't put it at the top because that'll get in the way of the clothespins, but I might put it down at the bottom just to give it some sparkle. Okay, so I will take a still picture so you can see what it looks like. You can add anything you want. Give it to a friend, send it to a friend. Obviously you're going to need a different kind of mailing. Won't take a envelope. You're going to need to, well, you could get one of those big 9 by whatever envelopes and put it in there, wrap it in bubble wrap, or a small box. And that is our easel loaded envelope. So I will show you a picture at the end. Enjoy the challenge. Happy New Year, and let's make this a wonderful 2008.